Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Bunny Cakes. Today I'm going to be doing my Booktube-a-thon TBR. Um, I am so excited for this readathon. It's hosted and created by Ariel Bassett, and she has a bunch of other booktubers and book bloggers and bookstagrammers and book reviewers and just regular readers participating in this. There's sprints and contests, and it's just, from what I hear, a really amazing, fun time. This was my first time participating, and there are 7 challenges. Um, there's read a book with a person on a cover, is the first challenge. The second challenge is read a hyped book. The third challenge is finish a book in one day. The fourth challenge is read a book about a character very different from you. The fifth is read a book completely outside. And I'm reading these off my laptop, that's why I keep looking down. The sixth is read a book you bought because of the cover. And the seventh and final challenge, which is the same for every Booktube-a-thon, is read 7 books. And from what I hear, that's the most difficult challenge that almost nobody ever completes. I'm going to give it my best shot. I have 7 books that I'm really excited to read, and really the main point of Booktube-a-thon is to enjoy the fact that you're reading with so many people and to just read as much as you possibly can. Some people pick 7 really short books. Some people pick 1 or 2 books that meet all the challenges. Some people pick like I did, pick a TBR that's probably never going to happen in a week, in 7 days, but I'm going to do my best and see how far I get. I picked all books that I'm really excited to read, and so let's get right into it. My first book meets the challenge of person on the cover. It's a new book by Stephen King. It's called Gwendy's Button Box, and it's also by Richard Chimzar. This book, it could also be my book I picked because of the cover, because it is so beautiful to me. It goes back to Castle Rock. If you know Stephen King, a lot of his books go back to Maine, and especially near Castle Rock. It's about a girl named Gwendy and her encounter with this man in a black suit and her being traumatized. It's just a novella. It's just a few hundred pages, I think. Oh, it's only 172 pages. This could also easily be my read a book in 24 hours book. But like I said, it's brand new, and I'm really trying to slay my way through Stephen King's massive list of books. And it looks really good. It's from the horror genre. The next challenge is to read a hyped book, and I picked up Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. She also wrote Girl on the Train. This is a murder mystery thriller. It's a single mother turns up dead at the bottom of a river, and it follows her 15-year-old daughter, and who's now an orphan, and it's supposed to be a lot like Girl on the Train, or, well, give you similar feelings from what I've heard. And I've seen this book all over Facebook and all over book review sites and all over Twitter, and so I'm really excited to read this. I actually cannot believe that I was able to pick it up so quickly, because it came out recently, but it was at my library on the shelf, and I was like, oh my god, I have to have that. The next challenge I'm not going to do, or is finish a book in one day. So the book that I've planned to finish in one day is going to be Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and this is a really super old copy from my library. This book, it even has the old card in it, and the cool thing about this is it feels like a little bit of history. It has punches on it all the way back to 1974, and it's so old, and I can't believe my library still has this in circulation, and it's the only copy. And I've decided to read this for multiple reasons. One, because I love horror and I love classics, but also I've never actually read Frankenstein before, and as um, my my pygmy recently informed me, the fact that I haven't read Frankenstein is bringing shame to me and my family. So I have to read that. Um, so the challenge after that is to read a book about a character who's very different from you. And for that challenge, I picked up Colson Whitehead's Underground Railroad. And this is just a historical fiction that follows a girl named Cora, who's a slave on a cotton plantation in Florida. It reimagines what the Underground Railroad actually was. It makes it like an actual railroad that's underground, from what I've heard. And also, this could follow my hyped book challenge too. I've heard so many great things. Oh, and there's a little person on the cover right there, so it could count for that too. But yeah, I've heard so many great things about this, and I've actually checked it out once before, but I didn't get a chance to fully read it, so I'm looking forward to this. The next challenge is to read a book completely outside, and the book I've picked for that is Stephen King's The Mist, which you can't see the cover because the library that I borrowed this from put a sticker on it, which annoys me to no end. It's a really old, kind of ratty paperback, and they stuck a sticker to the cover. But I really wanted to read this. There's a movie made after this book, and there's currently a TV show that's out. And I wanted to read this novella because the TV show brought my interest back into it. I didn't really like the movie. And I've not heard a lot of great things about the TV show, so I'm hoping that the book is better. I normally enjoy Stephen King things, so it probably will be much better, as books tend to be compared to movies and TV shows. So, hoping against hope. And like I said, this is the book I'm going to read completely outside. It's a very short book. It's 230 pages, and I picked a very short book to read outside because it's very hot. And as you can see, I'm very pale. So I'm going to try to find the coolest, shadiest place I can to read this. I'm actually planning to grill out Friday night after dark, so I might take a lantern out with me and read while I grill. The next challenge and book I have is for the challenge of read a book because you bought because of the cover. And now I haven't bought this. All my books are library books, but I picked this up almost entirely because of the cover. It's Illuminae. It's by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and it is just this part of the cover is amazing. But you can. This is taped down. Let me see if I can pull it off and show you what's underneath here. The cover underneath is just so interesting to me. It's like a case file. And then what makes it even cooler is that there are clear cutouts in the dust jacket that you can see through and see what's underneath. And it's so cool. And there's something about this bright orange that is just calling to me. This is a sci-fi young adult, and it takes place in the year 2575. And it follows a girl named Katie and a boy named Ezra, who is her ex-boyfriend. And it's written all in case files and chat, and it just looks like a fun read. It's like 600 pages, but the way it's written, it doesn't seem like it'll read like 600 pages. I've messed up the cover. So I actually think this will be a quicker read than it looks, and I have been eyeing this book on the shelf for quite some time. The last book I'm going to read doesn't fit any challenge other than the fact that it gives me a 7th book, and it is Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. This book I'm super interested in Norse mythology and pretty much all mythology, actually. And this book talks about ancient Norse mythology, but it does it in a way that nobody's really ever done before. Instead of it being like, okay, here's a god and here's an encyclopedia entry, and or like here's an old fable about a Norse god. It's actually written like a story. It's a work of fiction in that it's about in that it instead of just giving you like encyclopedia entries, it weaves a story into it. And I've heard a lot of great things about this, and it's Norse mythology, which I probably know just about as much as anybody about. Um, but it's in a whole new way, and I find that interesting, if nothing else. And also, I've heard a lot of great things about Neil Gaiman, but I've never actually read any of his work. The closest I've gotten to his work was when he wrote an episode of Doctor Who, back in the Matt Smith era, and it wasn't the greatest Doctor Who episode, but he did do one of my favorite scenes with Matt Smith, so that gave me hope, if nothing else. And I've heard so many great things about Neil Gaiman, so I'm super, super interested in reading his work, even if the Doctor Who episode wasn't that great. As you can see, total Doctor Who fan. But yeah, that's what I'm reading for Booktube-a-thon. I will link to Booktube-a-thon's Twitter down below, and Ariel Bassett's video, her announcement video, and some of the other videos she's done announcing contests and the challenges. But that's all I have for this video. It's running a little long as it is. So please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and follow me on my social media. It's linked down below. And keep reading.